My name's Inspector Cliff O'Brien. I'm in charge of the Major Crime Section of the Calgary Police Service. And today we're announcing the arrest of several men whose role in Calgary's organized crime community led to the deaths of half a dozen people since 2008. These arrests are the result of thousands of hours from dozens of dedicated Calgary Police Service members and those of our partner agencies throughout Canada. And we have a list of our partner agencies throughout Canada on the board there. We know that not only did this operation lead to the significant arrests announced today, but in some cases it was instrumental in preventing other homicides as a result of suppression efforts that took place during this operation. So today we can reveal the following an intensive 5-year investigation into organized crime-related murders of those 6 people, we have charged 5 men in connection with the deaths. The men, all known to police, are alleged to have been involved in a street rivalry between 2 organized crime groups whose members have committed multiple murders and violent incidents since 2000. This operation, dubbed Decino by investigators, focused on 3 separate homicides starting in 2008. Decino, which is land translation for desist, began in January of 2012. With a dedicated number of officers from several areas of the service, including the Organized Crime Section, Community Policing, and the Major Crime Section. Combined with major suppression efforts over the past several years, the Calgary Police Service has committed numerous resources to the investigation of these homicides and others committed by members of these organized crime groups. Along with the laying of multiple first-degree murder charges, we have, for the first time, laid charges of instructing a criminal organization and participating in a criminal organization against 2 of the 5 accused. Gang violence transcends borders and has become a nationwide issue, with gang members crisscrossing throughout the country, and we know that. Our service relied on the assistance of more than a dozen law enforcement agencies throughout Canada and partners who lent valuable resources, intelligence, information, and helped in ensuring the success of this operation on these cases. And we are incredibly grateful for their assistance and their help over the last 18 months. It's no surprise to anybody the complexity and scope of gang-related investigations is extensive and can be expensive. We know on average that a gang-related homicide can cost several $1 million. The cost of this particular operation, first of all, the operation's ongoing. We're not done. We're still investigating. There may be other people that are involved, and we're not going to finish until we get all of those people and bring them to the legal system. So the cost has yet to be tallied. We continue to remind anyone who is a relative, a friend, or an associate of a known gang member that they are putting themselves in serious danger by hanging out with those people. These individuals need to come forward, and we urge them to come forward and to assist us in our ongoing gang-related investigations in this city. Silence directly impacts the violence and contributes to the violence. We also encourage anyone who is in a gang or involved in gang lifestyle or gang activity and may be looking to leave that lifestyle to contact us. We encourage them to contact us. We will provide assistance to those considering breaking from organized crime. We have had considerable assistance from the Alberta Crown Prosecution Service. The following is a synopsis of the homicides, the victims, and the accused that have been charged. The first homicide investigation at approximately 6 p.m. on Saturday, August 9th, 2008, Kevin Anaya, 21 years old, was walking up to a home in the 1000 block of Markham Drive when he was shot by the occupants of a passing vehicle. The occupants then got out of the vehicle, walked up to Kevin Anaya, and continued shooting before fleeing the area. Anaya died at the scene. It is believed that Anaya was targeted along with another man who was not injured in that shooting. Charged in that case is Nicholas Chan, 35 years old. He's charged with first-degree murder, conspiracy to commit murder, and instructing a criminal organization. Also charged is Timothy Chan, 32. He's charged with first-degree murder and conspiracy to commit murder. Chan remains at large and his whereabouts are unknown. A warrant has been issued for his arrest, and a photo of Chan is available on the City of Calgary newsroom. Timothy Chan has connections and is known to travel in Calgary, Toronto, and Edmonton, and Vancouver. Nathan Zuccarotto, 26, is charged with first-degree murder and conspiracy to commit murder. And Dustin Darby, 30 years old, is charged with first-degree murder and conspiracy to commit murder in regards to this particular file. The second homicide occurred on October 26, 2008 at 3:50 in the morning. Tina Kong and Kevin Sess, along with two friends, were at the Food Inn East restaurant in the 4100 block of Marlborough Drive Northeast when two gunmen burst in and one began shooting at their table. Kong and Sess were killed in the shooting, while two others were severely injured. Sess was a loose associate of a gang member, and Tina Kong had no connection to illegal activity. Charged in this case is Nathan Zuccarotto. He's charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder and 2 counts of attempted murder. Van Luke, 25, is charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder and 2 counts of attempted murder. And the third case is the Bolsa restaurant shooting on Thursday, January 1st, 2009 at approximately 3:50 p.m. 3 men attended the Bolsa restaurant in the 100 block of 94th Avenue Southeast and began shooting at the occupants of a particular table. 2 of the men at the table, Sanjeev Mann and Aaron Bendel, were shot and killed, and innocent bystander Kenny Sua was gunned down as he tried to run from the violence. As you already know, 4 people have already been charged in connection to the Bolsa homicides. 2 are awaiting retrial, 1 is appealing, and the other is currently serving a sentence for this crime. However, in addition to those people, Nicholas Chan, 35, is now charged with first-degree murder in regards to that incident, and Dustin Darby is charged with first-degree murder, accessory after the fact, and participation in a criminal organization in regards to the Bolsa homicides. And I'll just open it up to questions.
How significant is it that you've laid these criminal organization charges?
Well, I think it is significant. I think that, or I know that these investigations are complex. They take a long time. They're costly. And we know that historically, they're very difficult to solve because we need cooperation, not just evidence, but we need witness cooperation. And we typically don't get them. So these are very complex investigations. For us to be able to go out and to investigate an organization, we're happy with that. We think that's something good. We're not done. There's still, although there are fewer overt acts of violence between these gangs in the city, we know that these gangs still exist. And so, although we're content or we're happy with this particular investigation in the file, we know that we're not done and we still have a lot of work to do.
What alleged role did the additional suspects in the Bolsa shooting have? The evidence that came out so far in court pointed to the people who've previously been charged as being the actual gunmen. So can you inform us at all what alleged role these new suspects may have had in the killing?
Well, I don't think it's, I won't get into the specific roles that people played. That's something that will come out in court through the evidence. What I would say, though, is that, I would say this, that they played a significant role. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here and we wouldn't be charging them with a first-degree murder.
Can you say over what kind of period some of these arrests took place? Bearing in mind some of these folks are already serving prison sentences, but out of the ones who've been rounded up so far, how did this unfold?
When did
getting them into custody? These arrests that happened in the last day,
right.
Last week, last month?
Nick Chan was arrested this afternoon at 3 o'clock downtown in the 100 block of 3rd Avenue Southwest. And Van Luke was arrested shortly thereafter in Burnaby with the assistance of members of the RCMP, the Vancouver Police Service, as well as CFSEU BC.
Do you anticipate any of these individuals, are they being looked at as suspects in any other unsolved gang cases?
Well, as part of the ongoing investigation, we'd be remiss really not to take a look at all of these people, look at their travel habits. We already know that they travel throughout Canada, and we will work with our partners in law enforcement throughout Canada, and we'll do our best to determine if they were involved in any other crimes.
Do you know if they're suspects in any crimes outside this province that they're being looked at?
Well, it wouldn't be right for me to comment on any of that stuff. It would be somebody else's investigation. What I'll say is that we had tremendous cooperation from our law enforcement partners, and we will extend the same courtesy to them.
Inspector, does this, I gather this sends a strong message to gang members, associates, or those who participate in gang activity. Suppression efforts have been successful thus far, but this is a whole new step. Five people in those charges. Could you comment? Is there a specific message?
Well, here's the first thing I'd say is that we have in the past and have been successful in identifying and charging the people that have pulled the trigger. But what we've never been able to do, or what we've struggled with, and again, because we've lacked the cooperation from people, we've struggled with identifying and charging those people who have pulled the strings. And so I think in this particular operation, we've been able to reach a little bit further than we have in the past, and so for that, that's good. What I would say as far as gang homicides go, these are old homicides, but we've never forgotten about them. We've continued to work on them, and if you have committed a homicide in our city, we're going to continue working, and we're going to one day show up and arrest you.
What can you say, I know that the names of these gangs aren't usually something that you guys go into, but looking at the arrestees, these are all people that do belong to one of the two groups involved in this conflict. What effect do you think this investigation has had on that organization?
You know, I don't want to speculate. It's very difficult to speculate. Obviously, we just made the arrest just a few hours ago, so it's difficult. What we know about gangs is that sometimes there are people that will step up and will continue on with some of that gang activity. So we cannot let up. We have a lot of different programs and different suppression and criminal investigations on the go, and we'll continue working on that. And we encourage people to come forward and provide information to us as well.
Could you comment on the complexity of these investigations, being that they date back to 2008?
Well, what I'll say is the initial investigations that were done were very thorough and very complete. But again, we only get one chance to do this. We only get one chance to get it right. And so we need to make sure that we have enough evidence to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that the offense occurred and that these people committed the offense. So back at that time, we didn't have that. I can tell you that over time, any cold case, any dated case, over time, people's relationships change, their motives change, and one of the things that the investigators were able to do is go back and re-interview an awful lot of people and continue going back and talking to people, as well as looking over the evidence that was obtained back when the initial homicides took place.
When we look at, I think the number that's usually out there is about 2,000 homicides from this rivalry going back to 2002. How many are currently still unsolved and we just still have to tackle, roughly?
Yeah, sorry, I don't have those numbers here. Here's what I would say is any unsolved crime is too many. Any unsolved homicide is too many. So we will continue to work on all of those. And for those offenders out there, you just don't know when we're going to show up one day downtown and we're going to arrest you, or we're going to show up in whatever city you happen to be hanging out in Canada, and arrest you.
Sorry, I don't know if I asked my other question before, if I asked it clearly or if it's something that you can answer. These individuals who are currently charged in relation to these homicides, have they been ruled out as suspects in other homicides?
No, we're going to continue to investigate, and we'll work with our law enforcement partners throughout Canada, and we'll continue to investigate and see if in fact they were involved in any other ones. So that's part of the.
Take it further and say that they are potentially suspects in any in relation to other cases against these individuals?
No. And I also, to be fair here, we have people that are accused, and I want to make sure that all of the good work that's gone in for the last 5 years isn't somehow jeopardized by comments about what somebody may or may not have done, or what they're suspected or not suspected of. We have these charges, and that's really what I can talk to today.
Inspector, can you speak to you mentioned the difficulty, the silence, the lack of cooperation?
Yes.
How have you managed to make inroads in that area? Are people beginning to perhaps they're bridging cultural divides, or I don't know?
I think there's a couple of things that are going on. Certainly, we had very dedicated, committed investigators. We have a lot of programs in the city where we're trying to reach out to people, and the Calgary Police Service is looking for opportunities to divert people out of gang life. And sometimes what that entails is obtaining information, or when that happens, we're able to get information, and that allows us to move a case forward. So although I can't really speak about the actual evidence in this particular case because it's before the courts now, those are all things that we're looking at. We know that there's people out there that have information about unsolved homicides, unsolved gang homicides. We know that some of those people have left the jurisdiction. Some of those people have maybe even left the gang lifestyle. So there are people out there with that kind of information. We're looking for those people, and we're always actively looking for those people.
We don't see sort of the overt violence, and there's police doing things behind the scenes all the time. But so far as the rivalry between these two gangs go, is there still a real possibility that on the streets that it's they can still act violently towards each other, or do you think that we've kind of chipped away at that?
I think we'd be naive to think that it isn't a possibility. We just saw some violence with at least one of these people not that long ago on our city streets. So I think it's made an impact, but we can't sit back and rest on our laurels. There's still lots of work to do, and we know that there's still a lot of gang members out there, and we need to continue working to make sure that they're brought to the legal system.